Real fast, I want to just go to Green Bay too because
Yeah.
we missed them on the last show. You were
Sure.
there. They to me represent the great unknown where well, it really a lot of the NFC North is. And every year we always pick a division that we're like, God, thing is going to be unstoppable, and that division never lives up to
Yeah.
expectations. And I'm wondering if Green Bay too is a little bit symbolic of that. Where I mean, in theory, we should go there and be dazzled by what's going on at practice, given the stable of the playmakers they have. I mean, their depth at the receiver room is
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there a again? You might not have a true number one until we find out what Matthew Golden is. But up until that point, is there a deeper receiver room in the NFL that you can remember? I mean,
They're fascinating to me. Like they like I look at them, and I think the receiver room is sort of reflective of what the rest of the roster is, right?
right,
Which is we're really good in a lot of spots. Can we be great? And then I
right,
just mentioned that when we were talking about the Seahawks, right? But it really does exist where like last year was sort of seen as this is sort of like the same thing we went over with CJ Stroud, where it was like Stroud wasn't a train wreck last year. He just wasn't as spectacular as he was the year before.
right.
And if Bryce Young had the year that CJ Stroud had last year, we'd be like, oh my God, look at Bryce Young. But because we're comparing it to the year before, it's sort of digested differently. In this case, I think you look at, the Packers. I think most people will be surprised to hear the Packers were 2 wins better last year than they were the year before, right? Because of the way the years ended. The year before, they were on fire at the end of the year. They beat Dallas in the playoffs. They scored 1,000,000 points in that game. They really challenged San Francisco in the divisional round. Um, in this case, like they won 11 games last year and they weren't bad. But I think the question now is, so if you'd say like they were in the Jordan Love's first 2 years, they're sort of in this like good, not great category. I think you can go down the roster and you can find all these places where it's like, is there a great player there? So you have receivers, right? Wicks, Reed, Dobbs, Watson when he comes back off the injury, then Golden and Savion Williams, who they draft in the top 100. All good players. We think the 2 rookies would be good players. Is there a great player in there? The left
Right.
tackle, Rasheed Walker, they haven't re-signed him. Jordan Morgan might get a shot at left tackle. Anthony Belton, they drafted him. Who's going to be the left tackle? Is it Rasheed Walker? Is there going to be a great player there? Defensive line, they've got 4 former first-round picks, right? Rashawn Gary, Kenny Clark, Devontae Wyatt, Lucas Van Ness. Is there a 15-sack guy there? And you just kind of like go through the roster, and there are all these different spots. Xavier McKinney, can he follow up what he did last year? Edgerrin Cooper at linebacker. They think like athletically, there really isn't anything he can't do. So like how many of these players become like franchise players, And in some cases, the guys are playing for contracts. There's all of that too. But it's that's what's so interesting to me about them is, and I think to some degree LaFleur's feeling that too. It's like, all right, like, like the training wheels are off. Like which one of these, like can we get like 3 or 4 or 5 of these guys to become true cornerstones? And I don't know. I mean, like maybe that happens. And if that happens, we're looking at them in a different way. And what's going to be a very difficult division.
It's almost freeing though to get to that point where it's like, listen, man, I don't care who it is. It doesn't matter. It's where the best of New England, it's the best of Seattle, it's the best of San Francisco. If the 6th round pick is doing it, I'll sit the 1st round pick. I don't care. We have so many good players here that something has to rise to the top and something has to make the difference.
You could even apply it to the quarterback, right?
100%.
Right. Yeah.
Especially after last year. And I think that the Jordan Love is erratic narrative got out of control. I think because again, I think that there's numbers and then there's how it looks. When he's uncomfortable, he appears more uncomfortable, I think, than other quarterbacks. But statistically, I don't think is any more uncomfortable or as erratic as any of the other quarterbacks in his tier, whatever you want to call it, that
right.
tier 2B or whatever it is for starting quarterbacks. And so I don't know.
The Stroud thing certainly applies to him too, where it was like, he looked so good at the end of his first year starting. Like the way he finished that season, it's like I think people just expect when a young quarterback just starts playing that way, it's like, okay, here we go. it doesn't generally. I mean, there are cases where it works that way. Mahomes, right? It just went up and then kept going up, but that's not that common. That doesn't
No.
always work. Like even Josh Allen, you know what I mean? Like people were asking questions about him into his third year, and eventually like it evens out and he's Josh Allen. Joe Burrow is pretty consistent on the way up, but that's not common.
By the way, I'm going to ask you this, and then I'm going to point out what has just come to my attention. Someone just sent this to me. My God, this is my favorite story of training camp. And that's how we'll close the show. How did Jordan Love look to you? And what 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 do you think that the ceiling is for this offense?
Um, you look fine. I think
Better than Caleb Williams?
yeah. Yeah, I would say better. Shelby, don't clip this. Yeah, better than Caleb
No,
Williams.
don't do it, Shelby. Maybe do it. Maybe do it.
Um, yeah, I would say like he looks he looks very comfortable in Matt LaFleur's offense. I think that the thing that stuck out to me was the command
Hmm.
and how he's able to be vocal with people now, which is a big step. Like that really shows you've got ownership of the offense and really shows that it's like, all right, like I'm comfortable now. I've been starting for 3 years. That sort of has to happen organically. But like you sort of naturally make it your show. And I think that's where he is right now. So it was good to see that. And, I mean, they won 11 games last year. Could this be a 12-win team? Could this be a 13-win team? I think it's all relative to what the other teams in the division look like. Because I mean, there is a world, of course, where at least these three teams at the top of the division, I think the Bears are capable too, could be all four, beat each other up to the point where, and the schedule was soft for all of them last year, where 12 games is enough to win a division that it took 15 games to win, last year.
Yeah. Boy, I'm interested in the NFC North. Like the Packers, I think could win it. I think the Packers could finish in last in that division. You know what I mean? It's going to be interesting to see how it turns out.